Hi, everyone. So another day, I actually had a bit of an epiphany. I was about to go for a walk, and I stopped in my tracks, and I thought, I saw, or more importantly, I guess I heard the words from Janine yesterday, Tarot by Janine. I did an interview with her. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. But in the interview, she said, you know, Carrie, you're a great storyteller. And I never considered myself a storyteller. My brother was a storyteller. My father was a storyteller. My sister even. But I never really considered myself a storyteller. And then I thought, wait a minute, there's a story that we need to talk about that I have never spoken about publicly ever. So that's probably why my voice is going. I'm getting a little tense because this is a wild one, right? But I have diagrams and everything to show you out of one of my journals. Oh my goodness, I'm choking up. Can you feel it? Wow. Okay, so this is a big stretch for me because, as you know, I'm a national child advocate. I've taken my reputation very seriously for many, many years, for all my life, and I know what having a bad reputation can be like. You know, I had a false accusation when I was like 13 years old, and it stayed with me for many, many years, and so that's probably why I waited forever to actually have a boyfriend, because I was so aware of what your reputation can do for you. So to come out of the spiritual closet the way I am, it's like, oh, yoy. this is a huge stretch, and you can hear it in my voice. So let's get to it. Enough about me and more about this story. So in talking to Janine, you know, I heard her say, you should share more stories. And this one, you know, we talk often about lizard people on this planet, but when do we really talk about dragons and dragon energy and the dragon realm? Because they're very much alive. And I've experienced them. Oh gosh, it started for me in, I believe it was 1990, 91. I was a young actress in Vancouver. I was up and coming. I was on MacGyver and 21 Jump Street and all those shows back in the 90s. And I was in, oh, what's it called? The little market downtown Vancouver. And oh my goodness, I should have done this beforehand. Let me just a second. I'm going to look it up. Thanks for your patience, because it would have driven me nuts trying to remember what it was. It was Granville Island in downtown Vancouver. There was a little market there. And, you know, I was a bleach blonde, long blonde hair. I looked like a little Barbie doll. And I'm 4'11", still am. And I was like, I don't know, 90 pounds, soaking wet. So I was, you know, just in the prime of my time. Everything was going really great. I was on all of these shows. And so I went to Granville Island one day, and I realized I really wanted to start to open up spiritually. So I was reading books again on angels and spirit guides and stuff. Walk into this little store, Granville Island, and it was kind of a mystical store. It had some books, but it had a lot of items like pottery and stuff like that that was metaphysical. And in those days, you know, you see those baby dragons now, and a lot of them are very dark and angry looking. This one wasn't. It was a circle, and it was a dragon biting its own tail. So the dragon came around, and it was the cutest little dragon, and it was biting its own tail. And I thought, wow, that's really cute. So I picked it up and I went, that's really cute. And I went to put it down, and my hand wouldn't let go of it. It was like, well, this is odd. So I tried to put it down. And it took everything in me to pry it off. And then it was like crazy glue, because now this hand was stuck with it. And then this hand was stuck with it. Finally, I let it go. And I took a deep breath, and I thought, what the hell is that? You know, it kind of freaked me out. And I thought, okay, that was really, really strange. That's a strange experience. So I took like 5 steps away, and I heard, please, please don't leave me. I'm part of your future. You need to have me. And So I checked inside and I said, you know, is it best for me to pick this piece of pottery up again? Because if I pick it up again, it's coming with me. And I heard yes. So I went and I paid for it, and it wasn't very expensive, brought it home. Well, that little dragon started to open up dragon energy in me and dragon energy all around me. And my dreams started to have dragons in them. They were good dragons, really beautiful dragons, but powerful. And as I started to progress over, I'd say it was about a year-long period of all these dragon dreams where I'd be flying on the back of a dragon. They were showing me things. They were showing me how to connect and how there were different universes and different dimensions, and how dragons actually had, you know, their own ships and their own, you know, their own origins. Just like humans are here, there were dragon planets. And it was really a beautiful time in self-discovery, because I was really waking up. I was waking up to the power of crystals, right? Crystals were very much part of the dragon energy, and the good dragon energy. And it was just beautiful. So then somewhere along the way, it started to turn. Now, I think it was probably because I was starting to turn. It was just, I would say it was about a year before my first death. And it was where the joy started to kind of go. And because I had already ignited this dragon energy in me, and I was starting to go dark, I was starting to get into a deep depression. It was the anniversary of my abortion, and I didn't want that abortion, right? And so I started to drink, and the alcohol started to bring me down. And I remember very, very clearly, you know, this was the downfall. This is where I went from the top of the building. I had a penthouse suite, you know, I had sold my houses. Okay, let's go back even further. When I was 18 years old, I took a course, How to Buy a House with No Money Down, with Al Lowry, who's actually a dear friend still today. We still are in contact. I shouldn't say dear friend, but we're in contact. And he taught me how to buy houses. And so I started buying. I was a waitress. I saved all my tips. And you know, with 10,000 down, you could buy a really beautiful house back in 1983, right? And so that's what I started to do. And I started to buy all of these things. And so I had, I don't know, 9 tenants by the time I was 20. And I was basically retired at the age of 20. So I sold all my properties. I moved to Vancouver to become this actress, and I had quite a bit of money. Well, I pissed it all away. I drank it and I partied it all away. Hundreds of thousands of dollars gone. So I went from the penthouse suite, this beautiful, beautiful apartment that looked out over Vancouver, huge balcony, and I went down the building, and I ended up in this little 500 square foot, you know, studio suite. And so if you read my book, The 5 Lessons of Life, this book here, it picks up at the point where I came down, right? I went from high on the hill all the way down. So anyways, the dragons were with me when I was high on the hill. And as I started to drink, dark dragons started to come in. And that's when I got a little scared, I gotta tell you. I remember one time I was washing the dishes. My goodness, I gotta clear my throat. It's a tough one to talk about because it is so far out there. Okay, so I'm doing the dishes, and it's in this, my kitchen was kind of like a long hallway, and like a galley kitchen, right? And right behind me, I had bifold doors that went into my pantry. And I'm looking out the window and washing the dishes, and all of a sudden I could hear this, right? This, almost a deep breathing, but a snorting. And I could feel the darkest of dark behind me. I'm actually getting a pain in the head just thinking about it. And, but I'm protected. Off you go. There we go. So this thing was standing behind me. And I slowly looked over my shoulder because I was thinking, there is something behind me. I can feel it. Every bit of me was alive. I could feel it. I looked over my shoulder and I looked at that bifold door, and smoke was coming out, like breathing smoke, white, smoke. It was at that point I thought, F it, I am really losing it. Oh my God, Carrie, you're losing it. And I kind of walked sideways, real slow past there, and I grabbed my keys and I ran out of the apartment. And I took that little dragon with me because I knew that it had been my link to the dragon realm. And it had gone very dark because I was going dark. So I went running down, and again, I tried to throw it in the dumpster. I couldn't let go of it. I tried so hard to throw it in the dumpster. Finally, I threw it in the dumpster. It took everything in me, and I let it go. And I closed the dumpster door. I cried because there was an emotional bond with that thing. And I came back upstairs. Actually, no, I think I went out for something to eat. I had to remove myself. And when I came back in, I gingerly came in, I opened up the door, and the door was, there was just pantry. There was nothing in there. And the dragons were gone after that for a very, very long time, until I went to Mount Shasta in 2017. 2017, my brother was passing. He was very, very sick, and I went and stayed with him on the mountain in Souk, BC. At his property, he owned many hectares of land, many acres. It was like, part of a valley. There were several neighbors in the valley, but he was one of the higher peaks, and you could climb up to the top and see for miles and miles. It was beautiful. So anyways, November 22nd, 2017, 11/11, I knew that I had to get my keister to Mount Shasta. I got an invitation from Prageet Harris, who was the inventor. He downloaded the Stargate structure that's behind me here. Again, if you've read my book, another plug for the book, but you got to read this. It's pertinent, it's timely. So everyone that's read it, 100%, 5 out of 5 reviews. It's been great. So I talk about this Stargate in it and how the Stargate came into my world. So I get this invitation to travel to Mount Shasta and to go to a Stargate event. So I show up this time by myself. I went the first time with my husband, and this time was by myself. And actually, no, this one was with my husband. Yeah, I went a year later by myself. So anyways, in this time, this visualization, what we do is we had about 50 people all sitting in 2 circles. We had an inner circle and an outer circle around the structure. And then Prageet would stand at one side and his partner Jules would stand at the other side, and they would channel in Alcazar. And as you know, I've been also channeling in Alcazar since 1993 when I first met Prageet and was introduced to the Stargate. So I hear Alcazar on a regular basis and speak through him, or he speaks through me, actually. So my very first meditation, this was the first meditation, and this is what I saw. I actually heard, Carrie, stand up. We were just about to go into the meditation. I was sitting in the inner circle, and I was on the west side of the Stargate. And I heard, get up, get up. And I was like, I'm not going to get up, no, everyone's sitting down in their chairs. I'm not going to be standing out. And I heard, get up now. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. Just then, Jules was standing with Prageet, and she walked past me, and she was going to take her position. And as she walked past me, like 2 inches away from me, I heard, this is it, get up now. So I did. I walked right behind Jules, and I walked around and stood in the kitchen. So Jules was here, Prageet there, and I was here in the kitchen. So no one could actually see me, but energetically we created a triangle. And that's what this was. So this is my crude drawing of that structure back there, the Stargate, okay? And I saw that there was a Stargate that actually went below our floor level. It actually went into the earth. And then there was a Stargate that went up. So I saw that this was Mount Shasta, right? And the angelic realm came in, the angels came in. So as we sat in the circle, there was a really strange movement of us as a collective, and I'll go into that. But the Stargate was literally in front of Mount Shasta. When you looked out of the house, you could see Mount Shasta was right there. And so I saw, you know, consciously, we went up, up, up through what looked like a second Earth. It was a visualization of Earth. And beyond that was ships started to come in. So we had 2 spaceships that came in. And then there was some planets and different galaxies. So one way would have gone to different planets, another one would have gone to different galaxies, and then it went up to the Galactic Federation, or what I've always known them to be as the Interplanetary Galactic Council. And so they came, and Alcazar is a member of that Interplanetary Galactic Council, and he was there to give us this download. So that was interesting. That was day 1, November 22nd, 2017. By day 4 or 5, day 4, so that's right there, day 4. Here we go. I'm showing you my journals. Yeah, so I had to, as soon as I finished the meditations, I started scribbling, and I started to put down as much as I possibly could, because these were so profound. They were not just visualizations, they were experiences. They were out of body, astral traveling experiences where I went up and I got to see so much. So the first one was that I saw that we should do an online program, and it's called 10-10. So 10 in the morning, 10 in the evening. At the time, I was working with the Sheikh Abdulaziz Al Nuami, and he is the Prince of Ajman. So I saw that it was a connection of 2 worlds, of one in the Middle East, of Ajman, and us in North America. And I thought we could do a 10-10 group, right? So 10 in the morning will be in Ajman, and 10 in the evening will be in Canada or United States or whatever. And those would be the dualities, yet opposites. And it's just coming together. So yeah, I heard innerharmony.com. So I probably bought the website for that, the domain name. I have like 300 domain names. Yeah, so many ideas, so many things that have been downloaded. So anyways, this is what I saw initially, was that this crown structure, this crown looking thing, that is actually the Stargate, that structure behind me. So I saw that on Earth, right? And we were at that point on Earth. So then I saw 2 ships, and one was above the Earth, one was below, and they started to go in a counterclockwise formation, which is really weird, because everything that I've always seen is that it's a clockwise formation that we do, right? But this was counterclockwise, and it started to spin and spin and spin, and then it actually became like, you know, you see in physics and chemistry, like the atom, the movement of it. That's what it looked like eventually. So from here, it went to here. And so the spinning actually broke out to be like an infinity sign. It span so fast that all of a sudden it started to do this. And from there, it became a double helix, I guess, or a double infinity sign. And a beam of light started to shine from the infinite above, infinite below. And then from there, it became like a shadow bubble, right? From there, it went to here, and it became multiple. So from 2 went to 4 to 6 to 8 to 10, you know, and infinite. What was this one then? Oh, I'm going the wrong way, I guess. Okay. You know what? I think it goes this way. So from this, it went to scattered. It was all over the place. And then it went to this. That's right. Forgive me, it's been a long time since I've seen this. From that scatteredness, all of a sudden it gelled and became an infinity sign. The infinity sign became this with an outer shell. From there, it started to multiply, and then eventually it became many, many, many. That's right. So when it became many, 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 that's when I started to get sucked into the earth. It was a Mandelbrot set. If you don't know what a Mandelbrot set is, look it up. I've done videos on it, so go into the history and look up Mandelbrot set with Carrie Kohan, and you'll see it. So a Mandelbrot set is basically the infinite going in or out, and being able to travel into the infinite through, you know, like a wormhole almost. But it's a mathematical equation, and it's absolutely amazing. So from this, once we got to this level, a radio wave started to hum, and it was like a whoa, 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 you know, a really interesting vibration. And that radio wave message was being sent out. It was like a frequency that was being sent out to the universe, and that message went out to ships, to universes, to multi-universes, that we are now coming. We are awake. Humanity finally has healed and is awake. We are all healed. We are all ready to reconnect. And then it lifted up. Then this happened. I have to burp. So this was a Mandelbrot set. This was the earth where I went in, really deep within. And then like a bungee cord, all of a sudden, I went into the core of the earth, like the heart of the earth, but it was the infinite of the earth. There was no end. And just as I was getting close to what it felt like the end, I started to slow down. And then like a bungee cord went boing, and I came flying out. And as I came flying out from the earth, I realized, I looked down and I was on the back of this big dragon. And that's me flying on the back of the dragon. Remember, I had to do this so fast. I had to draw it so fast while it was still in my mind. I could feel the G-force. If you had seen me in that meditation, you would have seen me going like this, because I was feeling like, oh my God, we're going through such G-force. And we were coming out of the atmosphere, the Earth's atmosphere. And then all of a sudden, it was like peace and quiet. And it was absolutely beautiful. And we just floated, and not floated, but we were flying, but it was just so calm and so beautiful. Yeah, once we moved beyond the Earth's force, this was a male dragon that I was on the back of, and it got really calm. And then I could see a ship in the distance. So this was the mothership, and this was the entrance to the mothership. And it had many different species, many different people on it, but it had a dragon that came to greet me. So the mothership entrance was kind of, you know, cathedral entrance shape, right? And I remember flying up, and as we landed, it was almost like on a ledge, right? And there was this big, humongous dragon waiting for us. He was massive, and he looked very authoritarian. He looked, well, not authoritarian, but he had authority. And so this was the ship landing, and his name was the commander. So we landed on the ship. I was greeted by the commander. I asked if this was the colonel. As we were flying in, I asked this guy, is that the colonel? Because I had heard the colonel several times in my lucid dreams. And he said, no, it's actually the commander. So he greeted me as if I was an old friend, the commander did. And I dismounted and walked into the ship with both of them on each side. You enjoying this yet? So then I'm standing on kind of a balcony, and it was very similar to, not Hunger Games, but, you know, those kinds of movies where, I can't remember the name of the movie. You watched the whole series. It was like Hunger Games. And you know, the ship, inside the ship, you could see like layers and layers and layers. It went up, almost like in Tron, actually, where you look up and it's like 100 stories of people looking over the edge and everyone cheering. And that's what it was. So they introduced me as Gaia. I realized I was representing Gaia. It wasn't me that was coming to meet them. It was the consciousness of Gaia that had come to meet them. I was just viewing through that consciousness. And so they were saying, Gaia's here, she's home, hooray. And so Chewbacca, he was kind of a creature looking thing. He came up and he gave me a big hug and carried me into the is that word? The column of the ship, the stadium. And he was saying, yay, she's home, she's home, she's home, Gaia is home, right? So what I got from that was that we are waking up, and that was the moment where we let go of so much pain. And I had almost a birthing experience at that event. I burped out this pain. It was tangible. It was so loud. The cry, the howl that came out of me, that you know, it was a birthing. And so with that, the next day came this event. So Merlin was there as well. Now Merlin, I've always had a connection with, and he was there, very much is alive and always has been. So the message from Merlin was, we came and we touched third eyes. He came and he leaned forward, I leaned forward, and we greeted each other by touching our third eyes. And at that moment, I felt a transmission come in. He downloaded something in me, and it was pure love. I don't remember what it was all about. And then we all stood on the balcony of the ship. And I realized that I got these two mixed up, because this I see is Lazarus and this is the commander. So it was, this was in the meditation itself, it was so interesting, because Prageet was also hearing and seeing very similar stuff. He saw this person at the end as Tiffany. He was channeling and saying it was Tiffany, and I actually heard, no, it's Titany, or titanium man of steel. And so that's what I saw, was very long hair and like white steel hair. And Titany was there, and then this would have been the commander. This is Alcazar. Alcazar was more, his energy was kind of like if you were to scratch on paper, you know, sketch on paper, it was, you could see just little bits were coming through, very etchy. So very hard to actually see. This was a sergeant at arms. That's who I flew on the back. This was myself representing Gaia. And this is Lazarus. Lazarus is always with me and is always on my side, always at my side, on my side too, I guess. So then the fourth and final meditation of the day was a half wolf, half dragon. And this beautiful being came in and spoke such words. It was a female dragon, and her name was Symphonia. And yeah, the vibration that came from her was really beautiful. So we finished the meditation that day with the dropping of the ball. It was very similar to you know, in whatchamacallit, you know, in New York City, where they drop the ball at New Year's Eve. That's exactly what it was. And so I said the ball of light dropped down like the New Year Eve ball. It came back down the shaft all the way down to the center of the earth, where it lit up. And we all came back into our bodies and the Stargate. The Stargate slowed down. It was revolving, like we were all revolving. The inner circle was going clockwise. The outer circle was going counterclockwise. It might have been the other way around. But no, I think that was the way. And so you know, we were spinning, and that was keeping that whole connection alive. As soon as we came back, it was like everything went, and we were done. And so the spinning stopped, and we became a very slow rotation, and then we just were shining bright. It was really beautiful. So after that, I was shown some symbols, and I painted them. And I realized that Archangel Michael was also with me. So this is a painting that I did shortly after. And it's very similar, funny enough, to another picture that's out there. But this was my own thoughts, my own feelings. And in fact, you can actually see a bit of a face or something in that shield. But yeah, and it has the feeling that Archangel Michael is either just landing or taking off, perhaps. But these are the symbols that came. And when we were in the earth, right, and all the energy was starting to go up and out, I realized that every crevice or every power point, every vortex on this planet has a corresponding planet. And so all of the surging of energy that comes up to the surface and becomes a vortex, there's a reason for that vortex. It actually feeds an alignment to other planets. And these are the symbols of all of these other planets. And, you know, there's spaces in between them for a reason. Don't understand it all, but that's what I was given. And so there it is. So yeah, there's lots of stories to tell. There's lots of interesting events. I'd invite you to, you know, if dragon energy is something that you feel akin to or alignment with, realize that, again, like any ETs, like humans, like, you know, the lizard people, there are good and there are some that are not so good. So focus on the good and become aligned with any messages that are here for you, and start journaling. Keep a journal, right? These are priceless when you look back, because I would have forgotten all of this stuff. And there's so much more, right? I mean, gosh, you know, this was one of the illustrations. So this was the Stargate, and that's that shaft of light. And so as I was saying in the painting that I just did, I could see the grid in the earth was starting to light up, and I could see how energy was coming out of the grid in certain points, and they were becoming vortexes, right? And so those vortexes, the energy started to lift up and out of the earth, and like that vibration, that whoa, 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 it was igniting energy within the earth and going out to other nations, right? Yeah, and that's where these symbols started to come in. Yeah, and one of them looked like a house. It looked like, you know, yeah, I couldn't quite get it, but I knew it looked like a house. Once connected, a Japanese symbol interjected and popped up into my mind, and all of these connected, you know, Earth connected with other planets and other galaxies around the globe. And then symbols began to pop up like hieroglyphics. So, and those were the symbols. Interesting, hey? Yeah, so, yeah, there's all kinds more, right? Yeah. I actually saw myself getting married before I got married. I saw us getting married in like the elementals, right? And this was Lynn's and I getting married, and it was fairies and gnomes and elves. And if you know my husband, he's definitely elf energy. He even has the pointy ears, as does some of his family members. They've got a little bit of a point in their ear. And he has a magical way of looking at the world. He sees stuff that most people would miss. So yeah, start opening the eyes and seeing things that most people miss. And thank you for being with me yet again on another story. I hope it all makes sense to you. You know, there's enough things here that they all line up, don't they? I mean, right from that very first experience with the pottery, how the journey went through both good and dark. And then eventually when I was open again, November 22nd, 11/11, right, 22, and the 11th month. So that's 33, right? Again, 11, 22, 33 are power numbers. They're good numbers. So have been used for dark as well. But it all ties in to me going to Mount Shasta with the Stargate, and then opening up and painting with Archangel Michael, because he was very much part of all of this. And then the symbols. So if you know anything about the symbols, if you can explain anything, how they tie into other planets, other galaxies, I'd appreciate all the comments below. And remember to go to my website, carriekohan.com. CarrieKohan.com. And there are free videos there on Mystery School Academy, the MSA page. Please go there, look at those free videos, enjoy them, use them. They help, they're helping humanity, right? They'll help you learn your special gifts, how to really tap into the special gifts so you can have experiences like this. Because that's what living is all about. It is not a 9-to-5 drudgery. It is not part of being, you know, a cog in the wheel of the rat race of life. You know, year of the rat is gone. We're now into year of the ox. This is the year where we get down to business and we start opening up. And so with that, thank you very much for joining me. Remember to share, remember to subscribe, and hit the little bell there to get your notices when the new videos come out. And I'm going to share even more. I have so many stories to share, you have no idea. So just, I keep thinking, I should be writing movies. I should be, you know, these are great movies, some of these, and they're real. So that was a wake-up call. Just one last thing. The reason for all of that, the dragon and meeting with the commander and going on the ship and hearing, hooray, Gaia is here, is because you and I have all, we as a collective, have stepped into a new way of consciousness. And that's why the Kabbalah is falling apart. That's why we have so many allies around us. And that's why, if you've watched the video of April 1st, where I saw all the beautiful allies coming in, the ships coming in, that's why they're here. Because the call went out on November 22nd, 2017, that we are ready. We have reached the level of our namesake, humankind. We've reached that level of kindness. We don't want the trauma, drama, violence, killing, all of that anymore. We're beyond it. And it's time to actually step into who we are, our namesake. Okay, enough of that. I love you all and hope to see you real soon.